Before we get wired into today's video, I just wanted to show you what is going to be the last shop update of 2022. I have a couple of new products in. I have the Uni Posca pens, which you'll all know are stock in the Stash shop anyway, but these are the gold and silver 1MR. So these are the wee teeny weeny nibs. This teeny weeny nib. These are great for greetings cards, that kind of thing. So you can grab these fairly inexpensively in gold and silver. And due to popular demand, there is now a full stock of these absolutely adorable square watercolour journals. If you remember, I bought one or two just to test the water, and all of you were absolutely like, yeah, I want one of those. So they are now in stock too. And I've also got another round of the sketchbook seconds. So these are C. White's sketchbooks that have been used as test books, or there's been a misprint, that kind of thing, or there's very light damage to them. So I've got a great selection here of A4 sketchbooks, and it is the good quality C. White paper. I've got 3 of these project books, so these all have the same paper in them, and these are the stapled ones. These are really inexpensive. These are great to give to your kids as well. So if you've got younger kids that like to doodle, they feel quite important because obviously these have got things like stamped on them. But they're super cheap and available. And there's another one of these lovely wee turquoise hardback sketchbooks as well, which I really like. Great little project books. So if you want to check out any of those things, head to the Stash shop today. As I say, that'll be the last shop update before we head into 2023. So go and treat yourself or buy some gifts for your loved ones. Let's get on with the video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem, and today is indeed Sunday. I am filming this the day that you are seeing this video, and basically everything's a disaster. So I swear honestly that the world is against me right now, but that's okay. I was hoping to have a scroller box video out today. That didn't happen because the scroller boxes have not arrived because of the Royal Mail strikes. Our mail service is a mess just now. So I had a backup video which was filming in this lovely book, Rooms of Wonder. I was going to continue on with that. So I had that as a backup plan, and I was all smug and happy with myself just because, you know, I was really organised and everything. Last night, so before I had guests arriving, so later on in the afternoon, my laptop just flatlined, completely died on me, and I was in the middle of transferring the files for this video onto the laptop from this camera. Now, ironically, I have actually ordered a new laptop and it's coming on Tuesday. I thought I was going to make it, but I didn't. So I spent most of my evening in between, you know, entertaining my friends, trying to recover these files and just basically get the laptop working. The laptop's fine. I have no idea why it did it, but it did it. And I've managed to recover 0. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to take you through the steps that I had filmed, show you what I've coloured and give you the pencils, and then we'll maybe do a little bit more. We'll just continue on with the picture. I'm trying to remember the order that I did it in. Yesterday was a long time ago. First of all, I started with the outside part, this window here. What I wanted to do was make it look like it was nighttime outside, because that's in the, you know, keeping with the fact that this is a bedroom and we've got this nice sort of mood lighting with the candles and everything. So the pencils that I used, they're really straightforward, really simple. I used the indigo blue, which is PC901, and I also used the Indian Throne blue, which is PC208. And I actually used the darker colour. I used the indigo for the lighter sections, and that was just meant to show that the light, you know, like moonlight was bouncing off something. So what I did was I just picked a direction for the light source, which for me is this side. That's kind of default for me. So I had darker areas here, but kept it quite subtle. So all the planes of these buildings that would possibly have a little bit of moonlight hitting them. I used the indigo and just did one layer of pencil, and then the rest of them I used the Indian Blue, and I just used different pressure levels there to, you know, to kind of like make sure there was a little bit of difference in each individual building still stood out. I took the 90% cool grey. I didn't want to use black because I just thought it would be a bit too harsh, but that's what I've used in the in these windows, you know, where the lights are off. And then I took the Spanish Orange, which was PC1003, just to put in some light in a couple of the windows. The next thing that I did was go back to the colours that we used for the tree trunks. It was exactly the same pencils. So once again, I'll just list them there for you. And it was the beige sienna, the sandbar brown, sepia, and the chocolate brown. And with that, there was a few areas that I wanted to basically have in keeping with the colours in the tree trunks, just to give the picture a sort of cohesive quality. So I went round this window frame here, and the way that I have sort of perceived this is it's a portal that's got a bit of a lip in it, you know, so there's a little bit of depth there. I used the sepia in here in these hatched areas on the inside part, and just basically gradiated through the pencils to the beige sienna at the bottom. And then on this outside edge I omitted the sepia, and the darkest colour is the chocolate brown, which I kept at this bottom edge because I thought maybe that some of the light might be bouncing off from these candles, so that this part here is just the beige sienna and nothing else. Now again, the actual spars on the window, they are obviously going to be inset as well, so I used the sepia and the chocolate there. And as I came down to the bottom here, I just added a little touch of the beige sienna, just to kind of marry, you know, this part and this part up. So I also filled in the holes here, and these little hollows where the books are. And that was a really heavy layer of chocolate, and then just a little bit of sepia over the top where the hatching was. It might be difficult to see, but I did that for both of these little hollows here. Not so much to do in that one, to be fair. And then down the bottom here, these two other wooden elements. I want your input on this, guys. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I thought they might be stones. I definitely don't think that they're wooden, but I just left it. I wanted you guys to give me some input with that, and we'll maybe colour that next time. So with the same colours and just the same idea, I did the tabletop here and these little shelves as well. The top parts of the shelves, I just used the beige sienna and it just put in a tiny little bit of the sandbar brown. And then underneath where the fastenings are, I made those chocolate brown. So this part down here, I decided that the door was going to be a colourful colour. I didn't want this to be wood effect because I thought it would look a bit boring. So all I did was the frame and this sort of window here, and I used the beige sienna and the chocolate for these two, and I just put accents on the beige sienna with the chocolate, so literally just like a couple of lines, and I did that with this insert here as well. The other thing that I did as well, so I was a busy bee, I did actually do quite a lot in that last video, was the vines in the background. Now I didn't want these to encroach too much because there's quite a lot going on in the middle part of this drawing, and I wanted them to not fade into the background but just not be too obvious. So the two pencils that I used for that was the marine green, and mine is very small now, which is PC988, and the green ochre, which is PC1091. So I used the green ochre for the vines themselves, so I just put a layer of that down. As I came up towards where our light sources are, I really lightened up the pressure, and you can see in this section here, it shows it off pretty well compared to down here. This is very light, so that's literally just one layer of pencil, but obviously I took my time a little bit more than I normally would with an initial layer, just to make sure that I had a good coverage, but kept that pressure light. And I used the marine green for the leaves here, and I just I didn't actually do it on purpose, but I lightened up my pressure as I was colouring each leaf just to make them look a bit more interesting, but they don't all necessarily follow the rules of the light source. For example, these ones would all be in shadow down here, but it's just to make them look a little bit more interesting. Feel free to colour those all the way if you so desire. And the last thing I did there was just at random intervals on each of the vines. I took the marine green and lent quite heavily in a couple of places, and again it's just to add a bit of depth and a bit more interest to what's going on with these vines here. So I'm going to crack on and do a little bit more And I want to come down the bottom here, and the first thing I'm going to do is take those nighttime colours, and we're going to make the outside look like the outside. Now, the primary colour that I've used here is the Indian 3, and there's much more of that than the indigo, so that's the colour that I'm going to use. And this is probably the only place where I want to try and get really even block colour. This is puzzling me. I kind of want to make it into a stack of books almost. I do think they're supposed to be stones though. Say down in the comments please, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm just not sure at all. So just build up a couple of layers here. There we go. Excellent. Off to a flying start here. I was thinking about our Terry's chocolate orange pieces as well, and I do think I am going to keep them chocolate coloured. Mr. Jem came in yesterday when I was filming this part, and that was the first thing he said. He says, "Why are there pieces of Terry's chocolate orange on the side of the tree?" So yeah, that's a thing. That made my mind up for me. So in the spirit of that, I am going to take the chocolate pencil that we've been using for our wood colour, and I'm going to put a layer of that down on all of these segments. So just a medium pressure. So in my catalogue of disasters this week, of which there have been many, I have made a monumental error in my personal Christmas shopping. Some of you might be aware that we have a bit of a paper blanks fetish in this house, and the paper blanks make really high quality, high-end, beautiful diaries, planners, that kind of thing. And every year it's tradition that I buy Mama Jem and Mr. Jem a paper blanks diary. And obviously this year is no exception. So I ordered them as normal. And I always get one for myself as well. Ordered them as normal. They came really quickly. They come from Germany. And I was kind of worried again our postal strikes are affecting things. I thought better order them early just in case, you know, so that they arrive on time. And they arrived, which was great. I was really happy about that. Hold that thought for just a moment. I'm also going to bring in the dark brown pencil here, which is PC946. And I'm going to use this to make some nice segment and just give these a little bit of dimension. And I'm just going to follow Johanna's lines. I'd ordered these paper blanks diaries, and the minute I started to take them out of the packaging, it dawned on me. Mr. Jem and Mama Jem are very, very busy people. They have diaries to write down like the day's events in, and they like their diaries to have a page for each day. Now the paper blanks diaries come in all sorts of formats and sizes, but they always get the same one. And my diary, I have a week to view, like on a double page. And as I was pulling those diaries out, I realised that I'd ordered 3 with a week to view instead of 2 with the page a day. And do you know that way that my stomach just sank? I thought, oh no, there's no way with our postal strikes that I was going to be able to exchange them in time, you know, for them, the wrong ones to get back and for them to send out new ones. There was no way they were going to make it for Christmas. So I am now the reluctant owner of 2 2023 paper blanks diaries that are absolutely no use to me because I have ordered the correct ones. So they are pretty expensive, but I would just like to try and get some of my money back. So I'm going to put these in the stash shop. They're brand new, obviously they've never been used. They're literally fresh out the wrapper. They're absolutely gorgeous. You get a little keepsake pocket at the back, but you also get a little like telephone directory. They say week to view, and there's lots of extra space to write in as well. So there's 2 of these. There's this one, that was going to be Mama Jem's one, and this was going to be Mr. Jem's, and they're more or less useless. So if you want to grab yourself a bargain, these retail in the UK for about £24. If you're looking for a diary for someone, or you just have someone who's a total stationery file, I don't know what the proper word for that is, and this might make a nice Christmas gift for them, head over to the stash shop. I know there's other things up in the stash shop today, but these will also be here. So I have 2 of these, and I will not be looking to get my full amount back on them, just recoup some of the costs, because I've obviously forked out for a second set, so it's a bit of a pricey mistake. Back to our Terry's chocolate orange. Right, so I basically just outlined everything with this dark brown, and then I'm going to go back to the chocolate and I'm going to blend it in so that the lines aren't quite so harsh. And I might even just make that corner darker. Might leave a little bit, so it looks like a little bit of shine on it. yeah, so I'm not having a good day. Also, as well, because my friends were over last night, they're still here. They're upstairs sleeping. They stayed with us so that no one had to drive. There was an amount of alcohol consumed, so I wouldn't say I've got a hangover, but I am definitely not fresh this morning. You can probably hear it in my voice. I've not had much sleep. I don't sleep well anyway, but alcohol exacerbates that, so I've had about 3.5 hours sleep. It's now 9:05 in the morning, and I have been up since 5:25. So we're doing really well today. This is actually quite a nice way to spend the morning, though I am going to have to edit Cavemas videos later. So at least this is a nice something to do. I can kind of have a chat to you guys. So I know this is going to be a really odd video for all of you, but just bear with me. Like, you're going to have to humour me for the next week or two. Say Royal Mail have royally screwed everything up for a lot of small business owners this year, and it's made everything very unpredictable in terms of when we're going to receive things. Because the other thing that's happened as well is some of you have seen on Instagram, I have decorated one of my local post office windows. I've done like a Posca display with it. I am scheduled to do the other window tomorrow, which is Monday, and I got a text message from the postmaster saying, can you come? Because I was going to be going on Wednesday, because Wednesday's normally my day off. And he said, can you come any earlier? Because I need you to fix the first window. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe like some kids have damaged it or whatever. No, Royal Mail got in touch with them yesterday, and they've changed the last posting date because of the strikes. So the date that I have written on the window to inform everyone that they need to have all their mail in by then is now wrong. So I'm going to have to change that. So I was like, right, I'll come on Monday. But also the weather has to get just progressively colder next week, and it's going to result in snow in the end up. So I said to him, it's actually, we're going to work in my favour to bring it forward to Monday, because that's going to be the warmest day of the week. Because you do get cold, although you're moving your arms, you're pretty much standing still. And I am doing it on the outside of the windows for various reasons. Normally you would do something like that on the inside. So yeah, I have to now go and fix that tomorrow as well. So you can see why I'm a bit kind of like downtrodden. And on top of this, I'm still trying to do all the normal things that I do. Next weekend will be quiet though. We have nothing on next weekend. So I'm going to take full advantage of that and just chill out for a little while. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So they're still, although we've used very similar colours, they're still standing out from the tree trunk, which is great. That was exactly what I wanted. I think I want to finish off these candles and maybe this little alarm clock here. That's kind of speaking to me. I do want traditional candle colours because I'm boring. I know, I'm terribly sorry. I am going to use Eggshell, which is PC140, so it's a slightly yellowish cream colour. Yeah, so we're going to put the eggshell down here, just on the main part of the candle. And then I'm going to take ginger root, and this is a combination that I use all the time. I really like it. Ginger root is PC1084. I kind of use it as a shadow colour for this eggshell, and it just works really well. Or if you want a more dramatic shadow, you can use artichoke. That's another one that I use quite often, but you can see they go really well together and down in steps. And where the wax is kind of like dripping down, I just want to add a little bit, and that's quite subtle. And then down one edge, I'm just going to add a little bit of this in as well, and it's just to give the candles like a little bit of curvature. A wee bit of dimension, nothing crazy. Press quite hard when I do that as well. For the flame, I want to keep it really simple because, again, it's a really small area. So I'm going to take this permanent red and I'm just going to put a tiny spot in where the wick is. And this is because this is a really bright colour. Tiny spot. And then I'm going to go back and grab the Spanish orange. So that was the colour that I've used in these little windows here as well. So starting to reuse colours to keep the piece cohesive. And I'm going to go over the top of that. I'm going to press quite hard, and with a circular motion I'm going to work out the way. Now I hope you can see there at the very tip of that flame, I've left it white. I've actually just gone in a circle, so the very point, in the very apex of that, I've left it white. And I'm going to do the same with these ones over here. Okay, so I wanted to see how that looked before I decided what to do with the wax strips. And I think I'm going to go back with my eggshell. So what I want to do here is just take away the white of the paper, you know, so it's less stark. I don't actually want to colour it in the same colour as the candles. So when I'm doing things like that, I always hold the pencil on its side. So like, kind of like a 45-degree angle from the paper, and it basically forces you to not lean moving heavily. Obviously you need a bit of precision for that though, so just be careful when you're doing it. And just tickle the paper, that's all we're doing, we're just going to tickle that paper. And that is that. So now what I'm going to do is go back to this permanent red pencil. I'm going to use this for the alarm clock, because I don't know about you guys, but when I see these old-fashioned alarm clocks, I either think of them being silver or red. Is that a thing? Does anyone else have the same feelings? So yeah, I'm going to make it red, because we want colour in this. We want this to be quite a cheery sort of setup. Now again, these alarm clocks tend to be made of metal and they tend to be quite shiny, so I want to think about the light source because it's right next to that light source. So I think what I'll do is I'll just try and keep a light edge on this side, because this is curved as well as the other thing, just to make it a bit more complicated. So I think we want the intense colour in at this little corner here. Again, I think we might have to leave a shiny part on the right hand side here. This red is obnoxiously good, I love it. And then this part here we can really go ham with it. And then I'm going to use the Spanish orange for the face of the clock. And I just want a light layer of this, I don't want it to be really obvious, so I'm keeping a really light pressure and that nice soft smooth circular motion. And you can see I've just taken away the white of the paper, not dissimilar to what I did up here with these candles. I'll maybe make this a little bit more intense down here. And I think as well, just stick in with those colours. I maybe pick out a darker red first though. So just for a little bit of shadow here, I have got mahogany red, which is PC 1029. And I'm just going to use that for a little bit of shadow in there. There we go. I'm going to use these same three colours as well down the bottom here. Now this is thinking about, I'm thinking about composition here, thinking about balance. So we've got this red and yellow in these tiny little patches up here. So I'm going to use it down here as well, and I'm going to use it on these toadstools, so I'm going to have quite traditional toadstools. So we'll start with the Spanish orange. Get in there with the Spanish orange around these spots. And then I'm going to use my permanent red over the top. And as I head up these tall parts, I'm just going to ease off. And then I'm going to take my darkest pencil, which is the mahogany red, and run that along the line at the bottom. And so start blending that out into the permanent red. So I can just jump between the three pencils now and really work this out a little bit. Surprisingly, in the Prismacolors, this is a pencil I use a lot. This one and Goldenrod's the other one, and it's a very similar colour. There's not much difference between the two, and it just seems to be one of the go-to pencils. And again, like yellows and oranges are not colours that I tend to enthuse about either, although I really like yellow as a colour personally. When I am actually colouring, it's not something that I reach for very often. So that's quite interesting, I find. But yeah, Goldenrod's the go-to. It's one of my very short pencils, and that's like my third one. It's the only thing about Prismacolors, you go through them so quickly. I've replaced, in the whole time that I have been doing the whole time I've been adult colouring and obviously the cave, I have replaced 4 Polychromos pencils in total, and they're the pencils that I use most often. I have no idea how many Prismacolors I've replaced in the same amount of time. It's a lot more than that. It's into double figures, definitely. And it just shows you how quickly you go through them. And yeah, I don't use them as often as I use my Polychromos. But to be fair, I had my Prismacolors before my Polychromos. So, but even at that though, it's crazy. I don't know anybody apart from the guys in the US, obviously South America as well, I would imagine it would apply there too. Outside of there, I don't know anyone that actually, the Prismacolors are a reasonable price for. So if anybody does get them for a reasonable price and you're not in the Americas, I would love to hear from you, just a curiosity, anything else. Now, this might be a bit of a different ball game here because we've got less space to work in. I think what we'll do is we will have yellow spots. Teeny weeny little spots, geez. And we'll just use 2 colours. I think trying to squeeze 3 colours into this is a bit ambitious. Teeny weeny spaces, wow. Get that dark colour in first. Ooh. So I'm going to give a top right hand shine to this. So that's why I brought that mahogany, excuse me, mahogany up that left hand side here. But we're going to blend this all in together. Wow, this is a mission. Too early on a Sunday morning for this. Ooh. So there we go, along the bottom here with the darkest pencil, and then slightly up this left hand side. Okay, excellent. Right, I am running out of time this morning. As I say, this was very impromptu. I just want to do these little grasses down here just to finish off what we're doing, and we'll call that a full stop at the end of the sentence today, for better or for worse. I just didn't want to leave you another Sunday without a video. It's ridiculous. Right, okay, so give this a quick sharpen. So I'm going with the green ochre, which is what I've used in these background vines here, as I discussed earlier on. And just get some of that flicked in. And I would really like to use that, the ginger root colour for the stems of the mushrooms, because that's going to stand out quite nicely against this brown here. I don't know what I'm doing with the underside of these mushrooms. I'm just going to leave them just now, I think, until I figure out what I want. I'll get them next time. But yeah, let me carry on with these grasses here. And again, the same as I did with the leaves, which I know you didn't see, but as I'm coming up towards the end of these blades of grass, I'm just letting my pressure up a little bit, just to give me a little bit of variation, and I'm not scared to leave the white of the paper, and it's just for variety. That's the only reason. There's no technical reason for it. I just like the aesthetic. Obviously, if you want to colour them in, maybe you could use a lighter pencil, and you have like two-tone grass. There we go. Got like weird hiccups. There we go. All right then. What an odd video. Like, I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. I'm just trying to do my best here. So at least we brought it on a little bit. I love the fact that we've got a little pop of colour down the bottom here now as well. And really sort of closing in the way now. We might start from the outside and just work our way in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this morning. I know it's been really strange and you won't be seeing this till later, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, you're still here, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it today. This picture is coming along beautifully. I have one more slot for this book just before Cavemas. I don't think we're going to get everything done, so what I'm going to try and do is I'll condense as much as possible in the next video. If it's not finished, I might sneak in an extra video the Tuesday, which is basically the day before Cavemas, you know, because sometimes I do a Tuesday bonus video anyway, so I might do that, and we'll just like slip this in and see if we can get it finished off, because I would like this finished in 2022. I don't really want, like, for the sake of one video, I don't want it turning over into next year. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the stash shop for the last delivery stuff of 2022, and also my mistake paper blanks as well. If someone can use them, I would be very grateful for that too. And yeah, I'll see you back in the cave on Thursday for another video. So have a great day, everyone, and bye bye for now. I'm going to make some breakfast for my guests now.